Rickman for coming in as he does every Thursday to give his big view. And I'd also like to welcome my next guest, Philip Graham. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. It's great
You were
to be here.
one of the event organizers for this weekend's the Saturday's Indivisible RI rally at the State House. No president is above the law.
Right.
Talk with us a little bit about this umbrella Indivisible RI group, and then we'll talk about the rally.
Okay, well, Indivisible RI is part of a national organization called Indivisible, and if you want to join, you can go to indivisible.org and do it. And it's basically a resistance movement that was started by two Democratic staff members who had been harassed for 8 years by the Tea Party. And they figured, let's turn their tactics back on them. And so they came up with this big a notebook of how to get the attention of your representatives, how to call them, how to go to their offices, how to get their attention about how you were really basically quite tired of what was going on already with Donald Trump. And so there are now thousands of hives all over the country that are resisting, calling their representatives, doing all kinds of political work that's trying to get this country back on its in good shape again.
And there's going to be a long speaker series on Saturday of folks, elected officials, community organizers.
That's right.
I saw John Marion with Common Cause, Aaron Ruggenberg, state rep running for lieutenant
I got a
governor.
whole
You've
list
got
here,
the
yes.
list.
I got it. There's the Rhode Island Women's March organizer, Shanna Wells, Common Cause, John Marion, Linda Finn for the Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence, Rodrigo Pimentel for the Dreamers, Kathina Koster for the Women's Project, Dr. Don Anderson for the Rhode Island Council of Churches, so many people.
Yes.
Anise Germain for Hope and Change in Haiti, and of course, as you mentioned, the Representative Aaron Regenberg. We got a lot of people.
A lot of folks. Now, the concern, as I've seen from literature online right now, is, it's no president above the law.
Yeah.
A specific concern with the Mueller investigation and the Trump administration's involvement, interference, if you will.
Yes. I mean, the former prosecutor and defender, Seth Abramson, has basically said that Donald J. Trump has been showing consciousness of guilt for the past year. I mean, it's quite obvious that he's obstructing justice, and Mueller is getting there closer and closer, and I think it's starting to catch on. There was recently a poll of American social scientists to say who is the best president, and George Washington was up there, and at the very bottom was Donald J. Trump. And even for conservative scholars, he didn't get better than 4 from the bottom. So there's a reason why we're so angry.
And so this event on Saturday, people are going to be speaking. Is it just to keep continued watch, in your estimation, about this administration?
Oh yeah, yeah. And also to show that if the unthinkable happens and that Donald J. Trump tries to fire Mueller, then there's going to be a lot of angry people all over the country, and we won't stop until we get satisfaction.
And so I'm sure, have you heard from a large group of folks who are going to turn out on Saturday?
I think we've got a pretty good group. I don't want to make any predictions, and because I'm giving a speech too, I don't want to think about how many people may be watching me, but I think we're going to get a really good crowd. Move On is part of it, and Rhode Island, and Indivisible, and then the March for Truth is also going to be there. So everybody's trying to get the folks out, and it's going to be pretty rabble-rousing, and we're going to have some fun. There's going to be music too, so why not?
I saw that. So if folks want more information, should they go to Indivisible RI on Facebook? Is that a good place to start?
That's a very good place to start, yes.
Very good place to start. And speaking of starting, this is not the only event that Indivisible RI is having this month. The upcoming meeting regarding offshore drilling at the Marriott, that's on the Facebook page as well. So this is multifaceted. There's a lot, not one and done.
There's a lot of stuff. And we're also getting organized with an organization called Postcards to Voters, which is a really good organization which you sign up. You get the addresses of people who are going to be voting, registered Democratic voters who are going to be they're living in districts that are having special elections, and you send them a postcard saying, please don't forget to vote. And it's a way of making sure that you get out the vote for those special elections, which Democrats have won 100% of in the past several months.
So would you say this is an umbrella organization, if you will, of like-minded organizations underneath it coming together? Again, Indivisible RI. The event's at noon?
Yes, it's at noon on Saturday, the 24th, and 30% chance of rain I think will be good.
And just while I have you in here, Philip, how did you get involved?
How did I get involved? Well, I woke up one morning, it was after an election, and the person who I thought was going to win didn't, and so I really felt like I never really woke up. I was in a nightmare, and most people I know think they were in a nightmare of a place where it's kind of a bizarro world where the person who shouldn't have won, who probably won with the help of the Russians and maybe in fact one of the worst traitors in the history of the United States, is now president, and we're trying to wake up from this nightmare.
Okay, so the event this Saturday, the one coming up later in this month, I believe it's the 28th, we'll have that information
Yes.
on the site as well.
Yes.
But again, Indivisible RI. Anything else you want folks to know, Philip, while you're here in studio? One, let people know about this event taking place on Saturday, but anything besides?
Well, I would say that if you go to the Indivisible National website and find out about all the kinds of things you do, find out about how you can call your representatives, how you can show up at their offices you're upset, how you can get involved, because this is a very critical year in the history of our country. This is a year where we have to get our democracy back. And if you really feel very strongly about it, if you feel passionate about how things have gone completely wrong, then it would be a good thing down the line to your children and your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren to say, I did this to save the country.
And I'm sure you probably heard this past weekend, Mitch McConnell's comments that he thinks the GOP is going to lose seats in the midterm. Do you think he's playing politics here, or do you think this is going to be the truth?
That they're going to lose seats? Well, you know, many years ago, the Canadian Conservatives lost every single seat except 2, and I'm hoping for the same.
Well, this event's going to be taking place on Saturday. Again, Indivisible RI. You can check them out on Facebook. We'll have the links on afterwards as well. But wanted one of the event organizers, Philip Graham, to come here into studio to tell folks a little bit more about it. I'm sure we'll have you back in the near future.
Oh, well, thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to come in. I'll let you go around the corner. Okay, take care. Philip Graham with Indivisible RI. The event taking place this Saturday at noontime at the Rhode Island State.